Number 4, the second bike from the left you see there. Let's check it out. Number 21 is Tortelli. They're off, and a great start by Carmichael. Totally different than the first moto. It's Ricky Carmichael all the way into the first turn. Tortelli not that far back, and ironically, a great start from Mike LaRocco, number 5 in third.
Yeah, I don't think Carmichael's too worried about the points. You know, he's coming into this to win, and then when the day's over, look at the point sheet and say, okay, I'm 4, 7, or I'm in the lead. So, you know, that's the main goal right now, is just to win the moto.
Win the moto and not lose points. Well, Ricky Carmichael is right where he wants to be to get back at Sebastian Tortelli. That was such a great start, Ryan. Let's go back and take another look. First of all, in regular speed, and then maybe slow motion.
Yeah, you can tell Ricky, you know, he's sitting back a little bit. I think a little bit easier with the gas. The gate might be a little bit drier, but man, he couldn't come off the gate any better than that. And you know, you can just tell he wanted that thing from when the gate dropped.
Tortelli, of course, was famous last year for practicing in his driveway on cement starts. Didn't do much for the neighbors' relations, but
I don't think it did much for his starts last year either. Maybe this year he's got a new technique and not practicing so much. Sometimes that works. You practice too much at one thing, you start thinking about it too much. And maybe last year that's what he did. His whole race was concentrated on getting off the concrete pad, and now maybe it's, you know, his focus has changed instead of just racing on the track.
Oh, he's bouncing around a lot there.
Yeah, at first I thought it was just Carmichael, but it looks like the track is getting pretty bumpy, and these guys are, you know, going all over the place.
Carmichael, LaRocco, and Tortelli. Shane Drew, Sebastian's mechanic. All the American mechanics were kidding Drew about having to wrench for Sebastian Tortelli on the French team in Brazil in the Motocross the Nations. Boy, did Sebastian go flying in one moto there. Ooh, did a helicopter. But he came out of it with no injury. Number 21 trying to take over second place now. That's where the battle is. Number 5, Mike LaRocco, Amsoil Honda. And the team Honda, number 21, Sebastian Tortelli. LaRocco coming off his best overall, a 5th after a 5-4 at Redbud. Got a second place in the final moto at Southwick. That was his best moto finish. And LaRocco, with 3 wins here at Unadilla, was so happy last year to pick off that victory here on this track.
I think Carmichael's riding a shorter track or something, because he's not supposed to have that big of a lead already. After watching this race, I'm pretty damn glad that I have him on my Motocross the Nations team.
Yeah. He's not even in the picture as we take a look at second and third, LaRocco and Tortelli. Back in a moment. Kevin Windham fans wondering where he might be after a good start. Well, it was just after that start, as we see on this replay, things just skidded out from underneath him. And he is now back in 7th place, trying to fight his way back up. But he had a good position that he lost there, Ryan.
Yeah, that's one of the worst things. You get a good start, you come out of the first turn, you're like, yeah, okay, good. Now let's concentrate on the track. You get behind someone, okay, I'm going to settle here. I'm riding good, got some good lines, and then boom, you fall over. Now you got to start all over again. Go back to 6th, 7th place and work and eat all that roost again.
Amsoil Honda's Mike LaRocco in second, Tortelli right behind him. Important for Tortelli to take that second place. As Carmichael starts to take away with it out in front, Sebastian would then still have a 4-point lead after this race was over if he can get back to second place.
It's going to be tough for Tortelli to get around LaRocco. I know LaRocco is one of the hardest guys to pass.
Oh, mistake though.
Well, just forget what I just said. He went around him pretty easy, but I know LaRocco's a fighter, so we'll see if Tortelli can keep it.
All kinds of rumors floating around that maybe Honda might be talking with Amsoil Honda as a support team in the 125s next year. That would be interesting. And also, you mentioned earlier, Ryan, about LaRocco maybe only having a 1-season contract.
Yeah, I heard that team might be just doing the Supercross next year. So I heard that. Actually, I heard that from Honda. So I don't know. We'll see what LaRocco wants to do. I know that the 28 race series is kind of tough, and LaRocco's been around for a while, has a family, and it starts to wear on you for a while.
3 decades of 250 racing for Mike LaRocco as we take another look at that little bobble.
LaRocco just went inside. That rut's getting a little bad. You know, he should be looking for other lines. Tortelli went on the outside and just swooped right around him.
And for 3rd place, Team Suzuki teammates are on the follow here of Mike LaRocco. In 4th place, we've got Albertine and Raynard. I'm impressed with Greg Albertine riding with such a bad knee. He's just riding through the pain. I know you've done that in the past. It's all part of the sport. Rumors have it in Europe that they're thinking about a one-moto motocross format. We asked Greg Albertine about that.
Well, I think some things are good. I think some things aren't quite as good. I don't think the one-race format is a good prospect. You know, just motocross is motorsport, and anything can happen. And if you're racing one race, you know, you get taken down in the first turn, or you'll have bike problems, you know, you're pretty much ruined for the season. I know it's the same for everybody, but generally with 2-race format and 16 races, the best guy at the end of the championship is going to win.
What's your opinion on that, Ryan?
Well, I don't know. Greg, you know, he's saying that if you fall down, you lose all your points. Well, if you fall down and get hurt for 2 motos, you lose 50 points. So there's good and bad. I mean, if you want it to be simple for the crowd and for the fans, well, then 1 moto's the way to do it. If you're looking for being in shape and having to train hard, then 2 motos. But you know, racing's racing, and you know, the Supercross used to be 2 motos back in the day, and they went to 1, and there was no complaints, and it seems to be running fine.
Larry Ward moving into 5th spot now, getting in front of Robbie Raynard. Ward's having a good day of it after a very difficult season.
These guys to me look like they're riding a different track than Carmichael. You know, you just see they're running into things, legs going behind them, and slowing down real slow. So I don't know. Carmichael just is, you know, he has only one thing in mind, and that's just to win, and to win convincingly.
There's David Villeman, number 934, also getting in front of Robbie Raynard. It's not been one of Raynard's day, and especially after he had such a good time of it at Southwick with a 2-4 3rd overall. I thought he was getting things together maybe at that time. Larry Ward in 5th, behind Greg Albertine. And then you've got Kevin Windham getting back into the race. Let's go back into the history books and check out our Suzuki trivia question for this week. Back in 1986, which Suzuki rider won the GP at Unadilla? The answer coming up. We're back at Unadilla Valley Sports Center in New Berlin, New York. In the final moto of the day, Ricky Carmichael is out in front. He battled back after crashing in the first moto to take 2nd place, but he's out in front and has a huge lead here in the 2nd moto. The answer to our Suzuki trivia question: which rider on a Suzuki won the GP in 1986? Bob Hurricane Hanna. Boy, was he popular at this track.
Yeah, Hanna was good on this track. He won USGP, and I know America picked him for the Donations. He rode a 125 about 10 years after his 125 career was over, and absolutely spanked the Europeans in the mud. And so that was pretty amazing.
It's ironic. He even had his own fan club on the hillside here, but it's ironic that he never won a race in AMA national history here at Unadilla.
I just want to point out, if the last 2 corners that you looked at Carmichael, he went outside to outside, but, you know, never lost momentum. And all these other guys are going inside, hitting the big bumps and the big ruts. And you can just see how much faster Carmichael is from doing that.
Carmichael on his way to his 4th overall victory in 6 races. The only blemish on the record would be the Mount Morris Mud Race, where he had an 11th place overall. If you take that out of there, and boy, he'd be far and above everybody else in the 250s.
To me, Carmichael's like McGrath out from Supercross. Carmichael's just, he's almost, you know, head and shoulders above everybody outdoors. And I don't know how he does it, but he does it well.
This would be his 6th podium, and would bring him back to 4 points out if Tortelli can hold on to 2nd place. With RC's mechanic is our Davey Coombs.
Chad, we're watching your board. We're watching Sebastian's board. Last time he was at -9. Now it's 10. Looks like you guys are pulling away a little bit.
Yeah, actually, Tortelli carried about the same pace that lap, but Ricky picked it up about over a second.
Do you think that Ricky's watching those boards thinking, I'm going to pile on as much time as I can?
You better. I don't hold it out there for nothing.
Chad Watts, when you're wrenching for Ricky Carmichael, you get a lot of TV time, and Chad's getting pretty good at it since the time he wrenched for you.
Yeah, we kind of got into the pro ranks together back in 1990, and you know, we kind of splitted ways. And he went with Kawasaki, I went another place. But you know, Chad's a great mechanic. I had all the trust in the world with him, and that's what you got to have too with these mechanics, because you know, you trust in your life with them. Because if they don't forget, if they forget to tighten something or put gas in it or whatever, I mean, that could result in a big crash. And you know, I trust mechanics just as much as I trust myself on a motorcycle.
It's a great support team. Not only the factory behind you, but also that one mainline guy that puts the bike together. You have to be friends as well as professional associates?
Yeah, definitely, because, you know, you guys are a team. It's a team out there. It's not just you doing the whole thing. I mean, if it was just you, you'd have to work on the bike and wash the bike and ride the bike. So, you know, you got to trust your mechanic to watch you riding and to make judgment calls about suspension and, you know, lines, and tell you when you're riding good and when you're riding bad. And that helped out the most, was when the mechanics can be more vocal.
Well, they don't have to drive the vans like they did in your day.
No, so they can fly and have a lot of time to think about how good you rode or how bad you rode.
Larry Ward is having one of his better days on the season.
Yeah, Larry's had a tough year, but it looks like he's figuring this out a little bit.
Carmichael, Tortelli, LaRocco are top three, with Albertine doing well in fourth. Ward would like to move up a notch. We'll see if he can when we return. The Chevy Trucks AMA Motocross Series is brought to you by Chevrolet Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. And by Honda, the company that defines performance on two wheels. Performance first. And by Suzuki, makers of innovative motorcycles and ATVs. Nearing the end of the second moto for the 250s, and Ricky Carmichael is gunning to capture his fourth overall victory on this year 2000 motocross season.
He has a huge lead. I think he could stop and take a drink of some water and get back on the course and still win.
Ricky Carmichael has led the most laps this year of any rider on the motocross scene. Coming into this Unadilla track, he'd led 81 laps, which is phenomenal. And of course, he's led every lap of this second moto. He'll just add to that total. The important thing for Ricky Carmichael after this race is over is that he's still only 4 points behind the championship and has Troy, Ohio coming up next. Well, this has got to be an advantage for Ricky Carmichael, because it is more of a man-made track, more Supercross-like. And Carmichael has run well there in the past, whereas Tortelli from Unadilla on hasn't seen these tracks before on a 250.
Yeah, that's going to be an advantage for Carmichael. He knows the tracks. He's won practically all of them 3 years straight, so he knows where the bumps are going to be, the new little ruts, and when it gets rough, where to go. So it's going to be an advantage definitely for him. But Tortelli wants to win it bad, so you know, sometimes that doesn't make a difference.
I tell you, what I remember about Troy is heat and humidity. Ryan, I don't know about you. I'm sure you remember that well.
Oh, it is so hot there.
The checkered flag barely got up in time. Ricky Carmichael was so fast he beat the checkers out. And with the 2-1, Ricky Carmichael will take the big trophy home. So Tortelli comes across the line in second. Mike LaRocco in third. A good run for LaRocco. Albertine, Ward, Wyndham, Villeman, Raynard, Dowd, and Ferry. Let's go to Davey.